Hey now, people. Yeah, this is a warm sweater, and I'm at home, so I just keep wearing the same thing. Then I wash it, then I wear it again. Black sweater's coming back eventually because I just love that sweater, but it's cold. What's the temperature right now? 16 degrees. They were talking about getting some snow, but we didn't. Just some flurries. Cheers, people. You know, one of the best things about the comments on yesterday's video is not hearing from a bunch of butthurt Kiss fans like I used to in the past. It's like, sometimes it's just crazy how people just cannot handle a simple fact that people have opinions and they're different. And it's, flabbergasting that people get so upset about something and I'm not even talking about them. You know what I mean? It's like, geez, you're not in the band Kiss. Living life as a hermit watching the world burn is the only sane way to live. Well, I'm not living life as a hermit myself, so if that's what you're doing, okay. This person said that the Kiss story made their day, made them laugh. Yeah, it's like you would probably think that Omaha would be safe, but they ran into me. And that's cool. Another person shared that their brother was a photographer and he met a lot of folks, and I didn't have that kind of connection. Well, my parents for jazz, but my own interest. I've met a lot of those folks: the Ramones, Patti Smith, Todd Rundgren, Philip Glass. I can't even remember all the people that I've met, had a few moments with. Some people more time with. Cheers. So I thought, just to stay in the moment, I grabbed a couple of records thinking, well, there's a couple covers that I like. Record covers. I can't, I'm not going to endeavor to do a video about my favorite album covers because I can't think of them all. Some will pop up in my head. So there's a couple here I'm going to show, and that'll be it, okay? One other comment that I've been meaning to make is that I caught on recently to a thread that's going around Acid Archives. I'm not going to participate, but I'm checking out some of those videos, and I went and looked at that book. And there's a list online of the items in the Acid Archives. I just have a handful of them, but I wouldn't want all of them. And there's actually a lot of records in the Acid Archives book I wouldn't want and have passed over because they're not interesting to me. There's even bands, local bands from Nebraska in that list. It's like, come on. I didn't even rate them when they were going. Lion Hill is one example. If anything, they were, our competition, but I didn't think of them that way. It's just, I just didn't think Lion Hill were that very interesting. For example, there's others in there, people I know, and then there's records that to me are obviously not in there that ought to be, but it's all subjective. See. No one, as much as anyone knows, no one is a complete expert. I have knowledge, but I'm not an expert. Compared to a lot of people, I'm an expert, but I know I'm not. So, in thinking about record covers that I really like, this one came to mind. And when I bought it and I got it home, I was disappointed because it didn't sound like the cover. But over time, I've grown to like this album. This is not an original. Tripsichord, San Francisco or West Coast band from the early days of the San Francisco scene. Now, some of you folks that live out there or maybe have more knowledge about this, maybe some of you even saw Tripsichord. Can you tell me about this? I like the album now. This is an Akarma reissue. Very nicely done. Very nice textured cover with the foil for the letters. I love it. It's a beautiful cover. Here's a cover that I like that is one of those Vertigos. This is not a Vertigo, it's a reissue, but it's one of those pricey Vertigos. Still Life. Love this. And I love the contrast when you open the gatefold. Still Life. The petals, the beauty. That's tight. That is really pretty brilliant design work, in my opinion. And this album is not as good as the cover. Kind of an organ-led English band. It's okay. It's just okay. The cover is the best thing about it for me. The music is not as good as the cover. Dang it. Now, when I pulled this, a couple of records were next to it, so I just went ahead and pulled them because one of them has another cover that I really like, and I keep it for the cover because I'm going to be honest, I don't like the album. But it goes back to my childhood because this is the second copy of this that I've owned. I first got this at a cutout, and I was really happy because I loved the cover, but I already knew that it was a English blues rock band. Stone the Crows. I really like this cover. I don't like this album at all. What is it? Gagne Ravon? Maggie Bell. See? That whiskey soaked kind of. And then Les Harvey. Sensational Alex Harvey's brother, who was electrocuted on stage, unfortunately. I like the cover, though, and I keep it for the cover. I've tried to like this album. It's just too bluesy. It's just too bluesy. Yuck. That's what I have to say mostly about the blues. And I also have an attitude. And maybe none of you will understand this. But as far as I'm concerned, I am one of those revered bluesmen in the current moment. I'm a black musician who is original, speaking in his own voice. But everyone is caught up in the past. You haven't caught up to me. I can easily see when I die that I will die in total obscurity, and it'll stay there, or someone will discover me. Ooh, lost musical genius, and make money off of me. That's an attitude I have, whether or not it's right or not. It's the way that I feel. I feel like I'm one of them. I'm a Lead Belly. I'm a Robert Johnson. I'm a Little Walter. I sure am. You don't have to agree with me. That's how I feel about myself. I'm just as important and as much of an innovator as them, doing my thing. So these records were next to the Stone the Crows and Still Life, so I'll show them. Stone Roses, Elephant Stone, magnificent pop music. The baggy sound. I hate genres and all that bullshit. These guys are just good. And a big reason why these guys are so good is the rhythm section. Manny and the drummer, killer. But great songs, too. These have been shown, but they're next. So I'm just... Jerry Stibbin, System Tandem on Japo. What does he play? Alto sax. Some jazz. I like that cover. Excuse me. I can remember showing this because I talked about the fact that this is Sonny Stitt playing an electric saxophone, and my dad had this record and had the unit until he had to pawn it so we could eat. But Yeah, there's that. Then here's Night Rider by Sunny Night Letter. Have to play this. I haven't played this in a while. Good old Prestige with Pat Martino on guitar. I have to cue that up. Last one from Super Sister, Robert Jan Stips, Up. A solo album that's not too far from the Super Sister sound, incorporating his sense of humor, but his very interesting way of arranging music. This guy is original. That's why I like Super Sister. I'm much more interested in an original voice than something that reflects roots. That's just not important to me. I know that's important to a lot of people. Your roots, where are your roots? Show your roots. It's not important to me. I don't mind if someone actually thinks that my attitude about how I see myself is arrogant. I think there's a lot of truth to it. Actually, I really do. Cheers. Just found out that apparently Ryuichi Sakamoto and Flying Lotus collaborated before he died, and that's coming up. I'm looking forward to hearing that. Something else I'll say right quick, since I'm just kind of ripping, is a great band from Nebraska. Forerunners of what we call shoegaze and dream pop. Four Against. This is one of their singles on the Independent Project Records label. I was just pulling this to show, but sad to say that Jeff Runnings, the leader of the band, this writer, is in hospice care for cancer. For the longest time, I knew that something was wrong with Jeff. I've known him forever. Played many shows with them. For the longest time, I knew that something was wrong with him, and he was in denial. And then it finally came out. He's had cancer forever, and he's in hospice care. I love the man, and he's good. He's good. I'm going to stand by what I said yesterday. I do think that, for example, RAF. If you see this, Dan, the songs on the RAF records are better than the Kiss songs. Now, you may disagree, and that's fine, but I'm telling you, that's what I hear. I hear better songwriting coming out of you and Paul Murky than Paul Stanley and Gene Simmons. And Peter Criss, who had the big hit, Beth, I can hear why that was such a big hit and how it touches in a lot of people. Do I think I could write a Beth? I ain't feeling it, so I can't write it, But it was cool to find out that the song was originally called Beck, about Jeff Beck. So yeah, I respect them though, and I love them as people, and that was a good documentary. They did. I respect the work that they put in for their success. Another channel that I like to watch regularly, because I have my regulars, is Yesterday's Papers. Will you show me the channel, please? I want to make sure I tell you the right name of the channel, because I don't watch a lot of stuff regularly. Yesterday's Papers, yeah, that's one of the channels I like to watch. And the most recent video is about this album, which I still would like to find a copy of, produced by Bill Wyman of the Stones. I bet you some of you folks have copies of this. The End, psychedelic pop from the late 60s. This is more interesting to me and more fun. And there is an aspect of escapism for me in it. When I was younger, imagining myself on the scene doing stuff like this. But it still captures my imagination, and I just find it much more interesting. Why am I doing this? I don't know, but I am. I just have to follow my muse, Last thing I have to say is thank you for continuing to buy the music. I will likely end up putting up 1 or 2 more copies of this for sale on Bandcamp after I make sure to get the copies that I promised to some friends. After I get those out, I may be able to post 1 or 2 more copies of Inner Image for sale on Bandcamp. But this is still selling. Sonicity. Again, I'm very pleased because 2 releases in a short period. I'll say it again, I had no expectations. So the fact that people are still buying it feels wonderful. Thank you. Thank you very much. And grab a copy. This is good stuff. I have a 3rd title coming. Most likely we'll offer it in January. But again, I'm saying very honestly, it's an indulgence that I'm even having another CD made, but it's of newer material. It's like, just let me speak. It's of several. So on Inner Image, there's a couple of tracks that are follow-ups to Future Still that was on FPE. This next one coming, which I'm calling Here, has more of those follow-up tracks and some other new stuff. Just new stuff on it. But no expectation, it's like, but I can do it. So I did it. Those may arrive as early as next week. Cheers. So that's it. I'm just going to leave it on the music. I do notice it's interesting how some people capture my attention. Like the guy from the In Groove, Mike. He's a character that captures my interest. And another Mike, Michael P. Dawson. I really don't know why, Michael, but you capture my, I like it when I see your post very much in 7-Up. And you're one of the people that I watch regularly once a week. Even though our tastes, that's what's interesting to me. I know you love the blues, but then you're listening to all this other stuff. But that's real life, My friends Blake and Cubby, Blake in particular, he is way into black music and funk. I am too, but he'll jump down a blues rabbit hole much quicker than I will. Okay, that's enough. Talk to me, people.